Welcome back, college football fans, to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Thank you. Thank you. Good to have you here, too. The channel created by the college football fan for the college football fan. The only channel where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks. It's great to be back with you here on the channel. Yes, we are still mired here in the off season, but here we are, one day closer, one day sooner to Memorial Day weekend for the official kickoff of the 2025 college football season. But hey, spring is upon us. Spring football is underway for your team of fandom. So the college football season is right around the corner. All right. And this is what I've got on tap for you today. Kind of the second half of my most recent top 5 episode. Last week, I did my top 5 best coaches of the 2024 college football season. So here we are doing the exact opposite. This week's episode, I have for you my top 5 worst coaching jobs of the 2024 college football season. So some of these coaches, if you are a team that did have these individuals as your coach, this episode might be leaving some of you feeling a little... My apologies in advance for that. But before I say anything else, let me just say thank you for all that you have done for the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Views, likes, shares, comments, subscriptions are way up, but I want to find a few good fans just like you. So please spread the word, tell your fellow college football fanatics, your family, your loved ones, friends, colleagues to check me out here in the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. And if this is your first time joining me on the channel, I always ask for, welcome, and want your feedback and your participation. So please get involved. Light up the comment section below to any of the hot takes, opinions, or facts that I present today. All I ask is that we just keep it adult-like, please. We all know how to act responsibly and correctly. And if you do get involved, I will vastly appreciate it, but I promise you that I will get back to each and every one of you much sooner than later, personally via those comments. So please get involved, exercise your college football voice, get involved, and I can't wait to hear from you. So please, the floor is yours. Light up the comment section and like, rate, share, subscribe, comment, and let's go ahead and get this dog and pony show underway. What do you think? All right. So I love these top 5 episodes that I do during the off season. It gives me a chance to kind of reflect on the season past. And there were a lot of cats that I could have chosen to make my official top 5 worst coaching performances of past season. But I narrowed it down to 5. And as I always do, I will give you, in this case, my first and second coach out. I will also give you 2 honorable mentions who just missed being on this list, which in this case, that's a good thing. All right, so let's go ahead and get down to business, shall we? Give me about 30 minutes, tops, give or take. Please get involved. Thank you for your time, your attention. It's an absolute pleasure for me to be here with you and share my love for all things college football with you, my fellow college football brothers and sisters. And yes, I did get a comment recently about, yes, obviously I bleed black and gold, but first and foremost, I am a college football fan. I am not a Homer Simpson. I can be impartial, so I see things very clearly, equally, and fairly, not just blinded or in that tunnel vision or my glass house for my Iowa Hawkeyes. All right? So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So before I give you my official top 5, I want to go ahead and share with you my honorable mentions. And this is something that is very unique. I have never had this happen with any of my top 5 episodes, but my second coach that's right, coaches out. I combined 2 coaches as one. All right. Now, I know currently we live in a brave new world of college athletics. In the NIL world, transfer portal, things are just not the same, and they will never be the same again. Here we have revenue sharing coming up just around the bend. But the other thing is that here we are, we live in the age of analytics from a coaching perspective, okay? Since now we let computers basically make the final decisions if we should go for it or not on fourth down and goal to go, or fourth down from this yardage or that yardage, based on if we're in our own territory, the opponent's side of the 50-yard line, hey, regardless of the quarter or the score. We've let analytics completely run wild, and some coaches have embraced it, all right? But in embracing it, though, they have let it go uncontrolled, and it really has seemed to blinded just their better senses, their decision-making as a human being, to where analytics, it doesn't take into account the human factors that we see from the comfort of our couches, in the stands, or along the sidelines. It can't tell you what's the situation, right? What's the records of the teams that are battling it out on the gridiron, right? What's at stake? What's rosters? Are they full roster? Is there injuries? Is it early in the game or late in the game, right? Certain things, climate, weather variables, it cannot take that into account. And quite frankly, I am sick and tired of it, all right? Let me give you 2 examples, all right? These 2 coaches who are my second coaches out, they both had very, very successful seasons, okay? They did, but each and every week, as I watch more college football and then occasionally even the pros, it's only getting worse. Week in, week out, I see decisions made by coaches that make me absolutely scratch my head and make me get sick to my stomach. I'm a coach, all right? And I believe my job as a coach is to put my team, the players under my supervision, in the best position and give them the best opportunity for success. When some of these coaches, based on these decisions, they're doing exactly the opposite. They're removing them from good, positive situations and putting them into situations that they cannot recover from. It's making me absolutely, I'm going batty. I can't deal with it, all right? Yes, I'm not like I'm going to give up on college football or protest or, I'm going to boycott watching it. I'm just going to sit here and bitch because I can, all right? So these 2 coaches, I'm going to mention their name first and give you examples of why. James Franklin from Penn State and Mike Elko from Texas A&M, all right? Once again, both had very successful seasons. James Franklin led Penn State to the college football playoff, and they did get a victory over SMU and lost in the semifinals to Notre Dame. Mike Elko, his first year down in College Station as the head man as A&M, put them in a position to win and get into the SEC title game. So very good seasons. But I can't let them off the hook based on decisions that I saw, okay? So let's talk about James Franklin. In that college football playoff game I just mentioned versus SMU, here's the situation. It's early in the second quarter. I think maybe at the 12 or 13 minute mark, all right? Penn State is up 14-0, and they are hosting the game in Happy Valley. Both of the touchdowns had come via pick sixes, so SMU had nothing going offensively. And at that point, Penn State's offense was kind of grinding. They hadn't really found a lot of traction yet, okay? But still, keep in mind, it's 14-0 early in the second quarter at home in a uber big-time game, all right? But early in that second quarter, here it is. Penn State takes over in their own territory. It's 4th down and 1 at the 19. Now, not the SMU 19 at their own 19-yard line. And what do you think they do? No, they don't punt, which you absolutely need to do. They end up going for it and get stonewalled. They do not convert. They turn it over to SMU, basically at their own, inside their own red zone. So now, do they pay the price? Is there a penalty? Does SMU put points on the board? No, they don't. Actually, the very first play after the turnover on downs, SMU threw another interception. So people would say, hey, it doesn't matter. And yes, it ended up being one-sided and then some. I mean, it was an absolute embarrassment for SMU that game. But still, it doesn't matter. It's 14-0 at home. You have a 2.5 quarters to go at your own 19. You follow the classic manual of college football, of football in general. Punt the ball, improve your field position, and then you're going to be set up to score again. Because let's say SMU cashes in on that. Let's say they get a touchdown or even a field goal. Let's say worst case scenario is 14-3, but there's still 2.5 quarters to go. It could change the entire outlook and the momentum of that game. All right, you cannot do that. I challenge any Penn State fan who's watching, or actually any college football fan in general. I love you. I can't wait to hear from you. I want to hear you help me make sense of this, because there is no way, given the best argument you can give, I want to hear from you in the comment section, but there is no way you're going to be able to make sense of this and basically prove me wrong and make me change my stance saying, okay, I understand, it's all good. It's absolutely asinine. You cannot do that, all right? But as I mentioned, it worked out for Penn State, so what do I know? But still, terrible. I can't let Coach Franklin off the hook because of that decision. I just can't, all right? Now, Mike Elko at A&M, all right? Let me rewind here a little bit. There it is. It's Thanksgiving weekend. It's rivalry week. Texas A&M is hosting their bitter rival, their ancient rival, the Texas Longhorns. And like I said, if A&M wins this game, they would have punched their ticket to the SEC title game. All right? So big time prizes hang in the balance. It's late in the game. All right? There's 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Actually, just under 5 minutes. It's like 4 minutes and 50 seconds. The current score, Texas is up 17-7. A&M has the ball at the Texas, I believe it was the 7 or 8 yard line. It's 4th and 3. Okay? Now, granted, Texas A&M's offense had done nothing that entire game. Nothing. All right? Their touchdown came from a pick six, or it might have been a scoop and six, I forget. But still, here they are, 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. They have 2 timeouts, and also the 2-minute timeout as well. You have 3 timeouts. You have the chance to cut it to a single possession game. You've got the Longhorns at home. It keeps momentum on your side. But what do you think they do? You're right. Mike Elko chooses to go for it. They don't convert. And then Texas runs out the game from there, and they go on to win 17-7. I understand why Mike Elko wanted to be aggressive there. Like I mentioned, their offense had not done squat. But still, at home, with basically 5 minutes to go, you kick a field goal and make it a one-possession game. That's a no-brainer. Once again, follow the manual, the instruction book of college football. Do what you have to do. And what makes matters worse, they didn't learn from that same mistake they made early in the first quarter. Texas A&M's opening drive, actually the opening drive of the game, they drive the ball the entire length of the field, and here it is on 4th and 1 in Texas's red zone. I forget what yard line they were on, but it was in the red zone, 4th and 1, with a chance to score points to get up on the team that's higher ranked, that's favored, with the SEC title game hanging in the balance. What do? Instead of taking a field goal, he went for it in the first quarter as well. And just like in the fourth, you guessed it, they failed. So right there, learn from your mistake. Take your points. I can't let these coaches off the hook, all right? Here they are getting paid millions of dollars each year to make these stupid decisions. And yes, they're ignorant. They be ignorant, okay? They are. And I need you, college football fans, to ask your coaches why. Explain to us why this made sense in that dome of yours to do this when you're getting paid oodles of money, millions of dollars. Or maybe these sports writers need to ask them these hard questions post-game, like, hey, help us understand what exactly went into you making that decision, because it's tough for us to understand, all right? It just is. So Mike Elko, James Franklin, great coaches, great seasons, but awful coaching decisions. They just are. And the same thing, A&M fans, if you're watching, or anybody, state your reasons, make your case why you think I'm completely wrong. Help me make sense of it. But I'm telling you, you can challenge me. I hope you do, but I'm not going to change my stance. Just stupid, okay? Ignorant, all right? So James Franklin and Mike Elko are my first two coaches out, or my second coaches out. So moving on to my next honorable mention, my first coach who just missed my top 5 worst coaches of 2024. I'm looking up there in Madtown, Madison, Wisconsin, to Coach Luke Fickell of the Badgers. Last year, Luke Fickell led the Badgers to a 5-7 record overall, which then ended their 22-year streak of participating in bowl games, and it was their first losing season since 2001. Now, Luke Fickell just finished in 2024 his second year as head man at Wisconsin. Overall, he is 13-13. Here he was supposed to revamp, reinvent, just bring pizzazz and air raid type offense to Madison for the Badgers. It has been completely the opposite. They have gotten zero traction. They are not making any sort of progress up there in Wisconsin. They're not. And Luke Fickell, of all the coaches I am going to mention during this episode, he finds himself on the hottest of any seat going into the 2025 college football season. I think if Luke Fickell doesn't get Wisconsin 6-6, maybe even 7-5, if they don't do better than that, I think he's out. And if you haven't seen Wisconsin's schedule this upcoming season, well, I'll tell you, they're at Michigan, at Oregon, they play Iowa, Illinois, Ohio State at home, and oh yeah, they also go to Alabama in non-con. So, and they go to Minnesota, their biggest arch rival for Paul Bunyan's Axe. So getting to bowl eligibility again, Wisconsin, good luck. You're going to have your work cut out for you. So Luke Fickell, I was so excited about this hire 2 seasons ago. I thought this might have maybe been a better hire than even Nebraska, bringing in Coach Matt Rule, a guy who's had success at every coaching stop. But I feel like I absolutely did not. I failed in this thought, because they have looked absolutely dreadful. There to Luke Fickell have the Wisconsin Badgers. All right. So Luke Fickell, he is my first coach off of my official top 5 worst coaches list for 2024. So far, let me know what you think. Like, share, comment below. Can't wait to hear from you. So let's go ahead and move into my official list, my top 5 worst coaches from the 2024 season. And once again, I'm sorry if this makes you a little bit sick to your stomach, some of you fans, but hey, I call it like I see it, and I see it like I call it. All right, so let's start with number 5. I'm looking west. I'm looking at the head man out there in Los Angeles. I'm talking about Coach Lincoln Riley at USC. USC began the 2024 season ranked number 23 in the preseason AP poll. Overall, they finished 7-6, really due to that surprise victory in the bowl season against Texas A&M in Las Vegas. So going 6-6 in the regular season, that's not going to cut it. When you're the USC head football coach, and think of all the bells and whistles that USC has to offer. I mean, anything they need, they have, or they have the means to get it. You have the talent base in Southern California to recruit, the weather you could hit the transfer portal for the weather. Hey, come out here to the West Coast. It never rains in Southern California, by the way, like the song says. But they go 6-6 in the regular season. That's not going to cut it for Coach Lincoln Riley much longer on the sideline there for the Men of Troy. All right? And I don't care what you think. I have said for years, there is no doubt that USC is a top 10, if not a top 5 coaching job in college football in the nation. It just is. Now, I get it. It is a little bit difficult to enroll and be accepted at USC because a very good institution. So that does make it difficult to get some of these upper echelon superior athletes. But through 3 full seasons now, as the USC head man, Lincoln Riley's overall record is 26-14. It's got to be better than that. The last 2 years, I said 2024, 6-6 overall, and I believe 2023 in the regular season, they went 7-5. So it's got to get better, all right? Because the Big Ten is only going to get better, and it's going to be more challenging for USC to find success in the new look Big Ten that they just joined, all right? So Lincoln Riley, I think he is a little bit on the hot seat coming into the 2025 season, but not as much as the aforementioned Luke Fickell. So I got Lincoln Riley there at number 5. Number 4. This is where things got really difficult for me, all right? I went back and forth between number 4 and number 3. Who should be number 4? Who should be number 3? But ultimately, I decided to put at number 4 on my list of the worst coaches from the 2024 season. I got to look down there in Tallahassee. Mike Norvell, the head football coach at Florida State. Coming into the season, they were ranked number 10 in the preseason AP poll, and we all know what happened. Anything that could have went wrong for Florida State did and could happen. It did. They finished 2-10 overall. They only recorded 1 victory over a fellow Power 4 conference team. I mean, what an absolute disaster of a season, all right? But I could have put Mike Norvell number 3, but when I look back, and yes, I did pick Florida State to make the college football playoff this past season. I did. But looking at it, did we really think they had the talent there on the roster, the proven talent, to get to the college football playoff? No, they really didn't. Now, the previous year, when they were absolutely shafted, one of the biggest travesties in all of sports, maybe even the biggest travesty ever in our sport of college football, Florida State went 13-0, ran the table, but were left out of the 4-team college football playoff field in 2023. So I felt bad for them. Maybe one bad season ended up being 2 down there in Tallahassee. Sometimes those things can linger. But all of the talent that left that 2023 team that moved on to the NFL or transferred out, they could not replace that. And DJU Uiagalelei, the once highly touted quarterback who transferred from Oregon State to Florida State before the 2024 season, thought maybe he could get back on track, but just ended up we got what we thought. I mean, he was who he thought he was, like Coach Denny Greenwood once said of the Chicago Bears. But I've got Mike Norvell number 4. I mean, he could have been lower, I get it, but still, I think the lack of talent that was there on that roster, I think that number 10 ranking was more or less based on what they did the previous season, all right? They were not deserving of a top 10 ranking. Being ranked, yes, but definitely not in the top 10, all right? So number 4, I had Mike Norvell, excuse me. Let's move on to number 3. And once again, I kind of went back and forth on between number 4 and number 3. Number 4 was Mike Norvell. Number 3, I had to look down there in Tuscaloosa. I'm talking about Kalen DeBoer, head football coach at the University of Alabama. Now, to be fair, all right, yes, there was uber expectations like there for anybody. I mean, let's not forget that this was his inaugural season as the head football coach for the Crimson Tide. He had the very tough job of replacing the GOAT, Nick Saban. All right, so there was a lot of pressure on Kalen DeBoer to keep Alabama at the highest of all levels, all right, because you knew if they were going to lose 2 or 3 games, there was going to be a lot of chatter, a lot of noise about, oh, did we make the right hire? And that'd be no matter what, okay? So I do give the guy a little bit of a break, but ultimately I put him on at number 3 because of this, all right? Coming into the season, they were ranked number 5 in the preseason poll. They went 9-4 overall, 9-3 in the regular season, lost the bowl game against Michigan, all right? But they lost that bowl game to Michigan as a 21-point favorite, all right? And one of their losses, and I've beaten this to death with the stick already, but one of their 3 losses in the regular season was as the number 1 team in the nation on the road as a 21-point favorite, also, just like Michigan, at Vanderbilt. And then they lose on the road to an awful Oklahoma team. And Coach Brent Venables is really lucky he didn't make this list, by the way. I went back and forth with that as well. But anyway, so they lose to a 5-6 Oklahoma team at the time. And they get absolutely embarrassed by the Sooners, who finish up going 6-6 in the regular season, just like Vanderbilt did. Okay? All right, so just was not a good season for Kalen DeBoer, but there's no doubt they had the talent there. I mean, Jalen Milroe had been a full-year starter prior to last season. It did not work out for him down there. I mean, it just was an absolute disaster, all right, for Bama fans based on what their expectations are. Me, if we go 9-3, I'm happy with that, all right? But some fan bases just get spoiled, all right? And some of that did absolutely fall on the shoulders of Coach Kalen DeBoer, though. I can't give him a free pass, all right? So I've got Kalen DeBoer, number 3. Here we go, moving on to number 2. Please go ahead, comment, like, share, subscribe, click that notification button. Thank you for everything you do for the channel. Can't wait to hear from you. So number 2 on my list, as far as worst coaches of 2024, you know, I've got to go with this because I thought this team was locked, loaded, and ready to finally get to the pillar, get up to the summit of college football. But I'm talking about the Lane train down there in Oxford, Coach Lane Kiffin of Ole Miss, the Rebels. Coming into the season, they were ranked number 6 in the preseason AP poll. They finished 10-3 overall, 9-3 in the regular season. They absolutely waxed the ass of Duke in the bowl game. But here's the reason why. I was so high on Ole Miss coming into the 24 season. I did pick them to get into the college football playoff field. By the way, I did not pick Alabama, just to let you all know, I did not. But Ole Miss, I thought very, very high of them. I was very bullish on them. I mean, the roster they had, the experience, but also the no plays. These are the teams that Ole Miss did not play during the 2024 season. They did not play Texas, did not play Tennessee. Both those teams went to the college football playoff. They did not play Missouri, and they didn't play Alabama. All right? Yes, they defeated Georgia, or a very good Georgia team who ended up winning the SEC title, but they had a couple of bad losses. One of them, I believe the second to last game of the year, losing at the Swamp against Florida and Coach Billy Napier, the Gators, bad loss, but then again, nothing worse than losing at home early in the season to the Kentucky Wildcats. I'm not talking about the Kentucky Wildcats of recent past. I'm talking about the team that I believe went 4-8, maybe even 3-9 this year. If you're a college football playoff legitimate participant and competitor, you're not going to lose a game like that, especially at home. I mean, they also defeated South Carolina, so they had some good victories. They did, but losing to Florida and to Kentucky, big time disappointment for Coach Lane Kiffin and his boys down there at Ole Miss. That's why I've got Lane Kiffin number 2 on my list of the top 5 worst coaches of 24. So that now leads us to numero uno. My number 1 worst coach from the 2024 season. And that coach, drum roll please, let's see who it is. Are they excited about it? Are they cheering? Let's see. Who is it? Who is it? But ultimately, my number 1 worst coach was Mike Gundy, head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Let me explain. Stop, collaborate, and listen. All right? Coming into the season, Oklahoma State was ranked number 17 in the preseason AP poll. And what did they do? Now, I also picked them as a college football playoff participant. But what did they do? They went 3-9 overall, and that includes going winless. That's right, winning this many. Don't it? 0-9 in Big 12 conference play. And in doing that, this ended an 18-year streak without a losing record for Oklahoma State and Coach Mike Gundy, who's now been there for 20 seasons. So he's only had 2 losing seasons there. His first year and last season. So that's overall that's legitimate. I mean, that's something to brag about. But when you look at what this team had coming into the year, they were top 5 on both sides of the ball in returning production and experience on both offense and defense. All 5 of their starting linemen were coming back. A stud running back that maybe you forgot about, Ollie Gordon III, who had a breakout season in 2023. Yeah, that's right. Really kind of forgotten about and unheard of in 24. They had a defense. I believe their front 7, they had all of their defense was back. I mean, just numerous starts, experience, snaps, and to go 3-9 and winless in conference play. And if memory serves, they didn't have any legit or major injuries. I know sometimes it can be attrition, right? And I would mention that if that was the case. Maybe I wouldn't have Mike Gundy number 1 overall, but from what I can recall, there were 0 legit or major injuries on that squad last year. I was so disappointed. I actually thought, based on who they might have been facing off with in the college football playoff, because of how they could dominate along the lines of scrimmage, I really thought Oklahoma State could have made a deep run, maybe even to the national championship game, based on what we knew of them coming into the 24 season. But that absolutely flamed out very, very quickly, like a candle in a hurricane, okay? Like a candle in the wind. They did. So Mike Gundy, I'm sorry, but you were my overall, in my humbled opinion, you were the worst coach in the 2024 college football season. All right? So that's it, everybody. I'm sorry I went a little bit long. Please get involved. Comment below to anything that I presented or stated here today. And please like, share, subscribe, keep the word out there. Let's find more college football fans just like you. And I would like to thank you, as always, for your time, your attention, for your support, because without you, none of this would be possible. Now, my next episode will be in a couple of weeks. I'm taking next week off, but I should be back for an episode the week of April 7th. And I'm kind of still figuring out what the topic is going to be, but hey, being the host that I am, I want and strive to give the people what they want. So if you have a suggestion for me of a subject or a topic that you'd like me to present and go in depth with here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, go ahead and make that request in the comments section as well, and you never know. So be looking for me in a couple weeks. So until then, thank you once again for all you do. Be safe, be responsible, enjoy the rest of your work weeks, your school weeks, and until then, peace, prosperity, and as always, go Hawks. Bye-bye then.